Jonah. I go to Toledo High School. I kind of want to go back on what Brandon was talking about, the metaphor of like this emaciated bakersman. Matthew 4:4 teaches us that man shall not live on bread alone, but by every mouth or every word that comes from the mouth of God. And it sounds like that a lot of people share the exact same testimony as I think a lot of us do. We were saved at an early age. We were kind of raised up in the church. Yet we weren't taking our faith seriously when we weren't pursuing our faith until a later date. And for me, that later date was like towards the end of the sophomore year. I kind of had this realization that I had just become completely apathetic to God's word. And then when I realized that, it just kind of hit me, and God convicted me for this great apathy I had. And I decided to make a conscious choice to like start, being practical with my faith and being disciplined in my faith, being intentional with my faith. God obviously heard me, like that I would, obey and that I would listen to Him. And the following 2 years of my life just radically changed for the better. In our Bible study, we started really going into the Bible like in depth. We started out, learning how to identify spiritual truths and whatnot, like how to really go about reading God's Word. And then later, I think we started a discipleship group outside of church, which we met every Wednesday. And we'd go through, a book of the Bible every month. And then from there, Nick, my small group leader, actually challenged us to read the Bible in a year, which, at first that's kind of daunting, like the entire Bible. But we did it, and we're doing it again now. And again, this has just radically changed my life. And I went from, being starving, being this emaciated bakersman, to, looking forward to every single day from that joy and fulfillment that I find from reading God's Word. And I think that's really the biggest difference between someone who is disciplined in their faith and someone who lives and breathes in the gospel of Jesus Christ, as opposed to someone who, again, is just apathetic with their faith, just simply knows God, but doesn't really know Him. And I think, that's where a lot of people are at to begin with. And it's, again, taking that conscious choice, taking that, conscious step is so, so vital to the Christian faith. Yeah. If you don't mind, Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of righteousness, and all these things might be added unto you. And I have that hanging up right next to my bedside table, so it's the first thing I see when I wake up, first thing I see to go to bed. And again, I think the key word is seek first the kingdom of righteousness. This should be our priority. This should be our sole focus in life. Everything else, school, sports, social media, whatnot, I think should come second. And I think, we really have to ask ourselves day in and day out, what is our priority? Who is on the throne of our life? Is it an idol or is it God? And again, I think this is also, very, very vital. Especially as high schoolers, and we have all these different distractions in public schools. And I think it's important that we stay grounded in the Word in order to defend ourselves against the evils of this world.